I guess it's time to go speak to Charon. Let's go do that.
So what God's forsaken corner of the realm is Sid dragging you off to this time?
Oriflamme.
The Holy Capital. And what business would you lot having? On second thoughts, I don't want to know.
Is that all? Is that really the only thing I had to say?
Speaking of Oriflamme, I hear the trading routes leading south have seen more than double the usual traffic. If you ask me, summat foul's brewing, and it ain't Tyre's borbile tea. Oh, just go and see Otto, will ya?
All right.
Right? Guess we'll go talk to Otto then.
Take a seat, Clive.
So you're really going through with it? Sid's been talking about bringing down a mother crystal since I've known him.
Huh.
That's all it's ever been. Talk.
He's convinced it's the right thing to do. We'll be leaving for the capital shortly.
Well, you couldn't have picked a better moment. Seems the hiding the royalists gave him wasn't enough to dampen old Sylvester's spirits. His legions are on the march again. This time, due south.
Another war.
All as the great Grieger wills it. Bloodthirsty little miss, that one. That's God's for you, innit? Still, might work to our advantage on this occasion. Wars breed chaos. On the front lines, and at home. With a fair wind behind them, a handful of like-minded ne'er-do-wells could melt into the back alleys of Oriflamme. No trouble. It's making it to the capital that's the problem.
I guess that makes
The
sense.
checkpoint.
That's right. Anyone travelling in or out of Oriflamme has to go through Northreach. Lucky for you, I might just know of a way.
Well, good.
Yes.
That's what we need.
Well, no, not that. That gets you an audience with the Dame.
The
And it's
Dame.
the Dame who'll see you safely through Northreach. I'll send a Stolas in the morning. Let her know you're coming. We go way back. And she's a true friend of the cause. I'm sure you'll get on like a house on fire.
That's good of you, but who is this dame, and where will I find her?
She's the proud proprietress of Northreach's foremost house of ill repute, the Vale. And she's quite a woman, if you know what I mean.
A woman. Right.
Don't go blinding her with your charm now, lad. I'll be expecting a full report when you get back.
Alliant reports. Alliant reports are now available for viewing by speaking to Gout at the Alliant report counter in the Hideaway's mess. These reports, compiled by the Cursebreakers, contain information on quests currently available across Valisthea. So are these just like, is this just side quest
I
hub?
suppose that's everything. Now to find Gav.
Oh, you're the new lad, aren't you?
We've literally spoken multiple
Goat
times.
at your service. Well, at the Hideaway service, anyway. Otto's put me in charge of reading through the reports sent in by our allies and picking out any problems that might warrant the attention of the Cursebreakers. Or any other willing volunteers. And there's no shortage of problems, I can tell you. Or maybe I don't have to. I'll warrant a strapping lad like you's got people begging him for help wherever you go. Anyway, if you're ever interested in taking a look over the list, just say the word. Reckon you could probably tick off the odd thing here and there. They say little acts of kindness are their own reward. But if that ain't enough, these have got proper bounties on them and all. Anything catch your eye?
Alright, Alliant reports to not only find new quests around Valisthea, but also travel immediately to the obelisk waypoint nearest to them. Okay. Alright, so these are both in Sambrek. And there's one in... Or these are both in Lost Wing, and then this one is in
Think you can
Rosaria.
help? right?
Ask about
Me?
Gout. Me? I do what Otto tells me. Suppose you could say I'm his right-hand man. He's a hard master, but not nearly as hard as my old one. When that man beat me bloody and threw me onto the streets to die, it was Otto who found me and took me in. I owe him, and so I help him look after the ledgers, as well as reading through all the reports coming in from our allies across the Twins. And if it sounds like someone out there needs our help, I make a note so I can point any willing volunteers to the right direction. Are you willing? There's no surer way of turning Otto's frown a little less frowny. Alright, before we accept anything, let's clean up this.
Like this old soul.
We leveled up. We're leveling up our lore mastery. Pew.
There is a rather fascinating
Hippocrates has a revelation. Oh, wow. Continental Accord, an international pact made at the dawn of the present era in which such matters as the treatment of bearers and the establishment of realm-wide currency were laid out. It formed the basis of much of Valisthean society as it stands today, including the branding of bearers and their status as non-persons. It also put in place a universal calendar, making a symbolic fresh start for mankind, albeit one which put magic users at a crippling disadvantage. The founder. Fear and uncertainty reigned in those early years following the sins of Zemeckis, maybe. Not wanting to further incur the wrath of the heavens, the few who survived the fall took to wandering the land, spurning magic, and staying to the shadows, and so they lived for decades. One man, however, grew tired of his life, if it could be called that, and after bidding his companions farewell, climbed a grassy knoll overlooking a forest of beech and alder. Here he gathered a pile of rubble and used it to build a humble shelter in which he spent the night. The next morning, however, instead of abandoning his work, as was his people's wont, he gathered more rocks, adding to the structure until the shelter had become a shack. This he continued for days, weeks, until the shack had become a home. At first, those few wanderers who passed the knoll would shun him, cursing the man under their breaths for his hubris. But as his estate grew, and one building became 2 and 2 3, the people began to slow their steps, and it was not before long that some took to joining him on that knoll, gathering stones, building new lives, new destinies. This they did without magics or machines, without boon or blessing. They relied on naught but their hands, their backs, their wills, and each other. And slowly, house gave way to village, village to town, and town to nation. The man would one day die, as all men do, but those who remained continued his legacy, expanded upon it. And though his name was eventually forgotten, his spirit lives on to this day in the hearts of all Rosarians. Legend of the Founder, Moss the Chronicler. Pretty cool.
If you have a question for me, I should be happy to answer it.
Oh man, we have so many new things. Gout. Otto's loyal lackey, tasked not only with keeping the ledgers, but with the reading and sorting of myriad reports that enter the hideaway and arranging assistance for those in need. Born a bearer, Gout was kept as a slave in an Oriflamme tavern, whose keeper would beat him bloody. After being thrown out onto the streets as punishment for a minor mistake, it was his fortune to be found by Otto, who took him to the hideaway. Kenneth, chief cook at Sid's hideaway. Though the range and quantity of ingredients on offer in their hidden Deadland home is limited at best, Kenneth finds opportunity in adversity, concocting toothsome fare from whatever happens to be at hand. All right, some of these are just updates, so I won't read them, but large mural, a place of worship located at the depths of the Phoenix Gate. The Apothecary is an ancient stronghold on the northwestern border of the former Duchy of Rosaria. A large mural dominates the sacred chamber, where the rite of ancestral communion, a ceremony carried out by the duchy's dominant prior to the marching into battle, was once performed. The Crystal's Curse. The price bearers and dominants pay for channeling ether through their bodies, the gradual petrification of their flesh. It does not affect those who use a crystal to cast magics, beginning with a stiffness and ache in the extremities. As the curse progresses, limbs are rendered immobile and pain unbearable. At last, the victim turns completely to stone and their body crumbles into dust. There's no known cure. Oh, oops, I thought I was going through the characters, but I'm not. Bernard, a carpenter who resides at Martha's Rest, whose speed and skill, together with the surrounding marsh waters' deleterious effects on the planks and piles of the village many bridges, keep his services in high demand. Gotcha. The Dame, an ally of Sid's cause who makes her home in the Northreach. It was she who informed the hideaway of the redeployment of the Samberquois legions following the chastening by Waloed at Belinus Tor, and it is she who will secure Clive's passage through the Northreach checkpoint. Rodney Murdoch, we already know he died. Attendant to the Crown Prince, second in command of the Dragoons, the foremost fighting force of the Holy Empire of Sambrec. His sword remains ever at the ready should anyone be foolish enough to make an attempt on the life of his liege lord Prince Dion. Jill. This is all just saying, you know, he pledged himself to Cid. We already knew that. Benedicta lost her life to Clive. Kupka's awakening as the dominant of the Eikon Titan, blah, blah, blah. So when a servant of Waloed informed him that his love had been slain by Cid, his fury toward the outlaw and his allies knew no bounds. The thing is that he didn't, and Waloed shouldn't know anything about that. The Onless Sage, firstborn son and loyal subject to Emperor Sylvester, ruler of the Holy Empire of Sambrek, as well as the leader of the Empire's most elite fighting force, the Dragoons. Dion is also the dominant of Bahamut, Warden of Light, and has often been called upon to summon his Eikon in defense of his countrymen, most recently in the year of the realm 873, when Odin took to the field against them in the Battle of Belinus Tor. Barnabas Tharmer, but rode into the fray himself, galloping atop his six-legged steed and goading Bahamut into a duel that shook the skies. Yeah, we already saw that. Really isn't too much going on there. High Cardinal. First and foremost of the 5 cardinals who make up the Council of Elders, second only to the Holy Emperor and the Imperial Government, it is his role to lead the Council in governing Sanbrek in the Emperor's stead. Providing the latter does not overrule his decisions, his authority is absolute. Not bad. All right. What are we missing? Already have that. Territorialization of Rosaria. In the year 861, taking advantage of the discord arising from Rosaria's internal woes in the wake of Night of Flames, the Ironblood launched an attack that inflicted devastating losses on an already crippled nation, robbing it of what little power remained. Later that same year, Sambrek stepped in and forced the once proud duchy to submit to one final humiliation by becoming a vassal state of the Empire, just as Duchess Annabella and her imperial conspirators had planned. Great Reeds, an area of marchland in the eastern part of the imperial province of Rosaria, just south of Martha's Rest. Numerous shacks and hovels dotted about the swamp suggest the area was once at least sparsely populated. However, now most lie broken and abandoned, their owners having fled for more habitable climes once the waters began to rise. Peaceful. I think we already read this. Yeah, this just says the bears were culled by Empress Annabella. The Purge of Eastpool was a brutal attack on the Rosarian village of Eastpool in the year 873. Annabella Lesage, Holy Empress of Sambrek and Vicereine of Rosaria, ordered that all bearers being harbored by the villagers be slaughtered, along with those ducal loyalists who had been given them shelter. In the ensuing massacre, Eastpool's population was effectively decimated, and ultimately the village was abandoned. White Worm Castle, the towering citadel from which the Holy Emperor of Sambrek rules over the entirety of his domain. With the Mother Crystal rising above it and the imperial capital of Oriflamme spread out below, this ivory edifice is truly a wonder to behold. Drake's Head, the Mother Crystal, situated at the Sea of Grace in the northern Sambrek. Drake's Head towers over the holy capital of Oriflamme, its mighty form a testament to the power and permanence of the Empire. However, mysterious ether floods and the specter of an ever-encroaching blight have led some in power to call that permanence into question. Vice-Regency, after the incorporation of Rosaria into the Empire, Emperor Sylvester elected not to rule the new province directly, but to make it a Vice-Regency with Rosalith as its provincial capital. I think we already read this about the 5 cardinals, senior statesmen that make up the highest office of government in Sambrek. The council is comprised of the High Cardinal, representative of the central Sambrek and holy capital Oriflamme, and the 4 cardinals who administered the outer provinces, north, south, east, and west. Battle of Belinus Tor. This is the battle that we saw. Having lost vital territory to the Samberquois forces 8 years earlier in the Battle of the Twin Realms, the Waloeders launched an assault on the eponymous peak, looking to regain a foothold in the Imperial lands on the opposite side of the Strait of Altha. Both sides fielded their Eikons, and in the ensuing showdown between Odin and Bahamut, the entire Samberquois Legion was lost and the Waloeders regained their outpost on Storm. Surprised Odin was really even able to win. Eye of the Tempest, we lived through that. That's just saying we basically blighted the land. The Breadbasket, a region overlooking the Strait of Altha in the eastern part of Sambrek, the bounty provided by its rich soil fed the empire for generations until the ever-encroaching Blight intervened, displacing thousands in the process, a disturbance which played no small part in the troubles that were later to engulf the imperial capital. Royal Knights of Waloed, Kingdom of Waloed's main battlefield forces, also known as the Kingsguard. When they ultimately answer to King Barnabas, the Knights' orders are usually issued by their Lord Commander. The Royal Intelligencers, especially a unit led by Benedicta Harmon, dominant of Garuda, are a notable exception to this rule, reporting as they do directly to the King. Boiling Crusade. Surprise attack launched by the Iron Kingdom on the Duchy of Rosaria in the year 860. Rosaria was critically weakened at the time, having lost Archduke Elwyn Rosfield and been plunged into the chaos at the aftermath of the attack on the Phoenix Gate. The Iron Blood unleashed a wave of murderous destruction on the Rosarians and returned home with human spoils in the form of countless young women and children, Jill Warwick among them. Strait of Altha, narrow channel to the north of the crystalline dominion that separates the continents of Storm and Ash. With Sambrek to the west, Waloed to the east, and the Dominion to the south, its shores are never short of soldiers or political tension. Mother crystals. This just says Sid posits that it is in fact the mother crystals and their ability to draw ether from the earth that is the reason for the Deadlands' advance. The few who learn the truth are hunted down by those in positions of power, those whose power rests on the control of their crucial resource. Dominant. This just says that Clive awakened and it changed his life. Dominants suffer from the crystal's curse, gradually turning to stone. That just says the same thing about the curse. Ancient mural, a wall painting found in the depths of the apothecary under Phoenix Gate. Who created it and for what purpose it is unknown, but the celestial being in the center suggests some connection to a long-lost religion. Ultima's thralls. Twisted, glowing blue creatures that awaited Clive and Jill deep within Phoenix Gate to try and prevent them from gaining the innermost recesses of the apothecary. So is that Ultima then? That's interesting. That's a name that wasn't thrown out there before. Ramu. Or Rama. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Warden of Thunder, whose power most lately awakened within Sidolphus Telamon. The Eikon is known the realm over as a symbol of judgment, no doubt inspired by its sage mien and the scepter with which it summons its 11 bolts. Folklore has it that not only are dominants of Rama blessed with the command of lightning, they are also granted a deeper understanding of the true nature of the world. Garuda, hawk-like talons. An ancient blah blah blah. Dominant is most often born among the descendants of the Motes of Wind, an ancient tribe that once dwelled in the land spanning the Strait of Altha, what is now the Crystalline Dominion. Interesting, but she was still allied with Sambrek. Black Widows. Unlike many arachnids, which use gossamer webbing to ensnare their victims, Black Widows prefer instead to cling silently to trees and cliffs and await the passing of an animal below, at which time they leap down and assault their prey with hooked limb and caustic spit. They prefer dark, cool environs, and as such are rarely seen in Valisthea's southern deserts. Minotaurs, our favorite. Towering beastmen that combine the heads of oxen with bodies eerily human, Minotaurs are abnormally aggressive, a trait that suggests that little man remains within the beast, and roam the grassy meadows of Rosaria, doling out violence seemingly indiscriminately with their crude yet massive clubs. Despite the obvious danger, however, hunters still actively seek out these menaces for their lustrous manes, which often command exorbitant prices at market. Megalo crabs. Making a habitat of waters both fresh and brackish, these goodly crustaceans spend most of their time buried in the mud, where they warm their sanguine humors as they wait for a potential meal to wander by. Since the time of the founder, the peoples of Rosaria have hunted megalo crab for its sweet, succulent flesh and creamy tamale. The species having long been known amongst the small folk as fire crab for the bright red color and phoenix-like patterns which emerge on the shells after boiling. Ugh, it's a cave demon. Cray claws. Found mostly in and around the lakes and rivers of Sambrek and Rosaria, these deadly predators are equipped with scissor-like pincers with which to dismember and eviscerate their prey. If that were not enough, the creatures take in water from their habitat to create highly corrosive juices in their bellies, which then spit out onto their victim's flesh to soften it, making it easier to consume. It broke my knife! Antelopes, large herbivorous creature found mainly on Storm. It has distinctive, elaborate antlers and long, sinuous limbs, which it uses to leap gracefully into the air. It attacks mainly with its antlers and rear legs, but many hunters have prepared to face such dangers nonetheless in order to acquire the lustrous, supple pelts for which the noble beasts are famed. Bighorns. Found to graze primarily in emerald meadows of Rosaria or the windswept savannas of Dalmekia, bighorns are easily recognized by their eponymous growths, the length of which can oft exceed several score hands. That juts sideways from their crowns. These horns, as well as their hard-wearing hides, are prized throughout Valisthea and can be bought and sold at marketplaces all over the realm. Caution, however, is recommended when hunting the creatures, as they are highly territorial and will change relentlessly at anything that might stray into their line of sight. Iron Giants. Oversized suits of armor animated by lost fallen magics. Deceptively swift despite their size, they wield both sword and shield skillfully and effectively, while the otherworldly plate which surrounds their vulnerable cores provide them with a nigh impenetrable defense. Bombs. Floating masses of self-contained flame found across both storm and ash, these creatures lack the flesh with which we associate a typical fauna. Leading scholars of the natural world to posit that they are not descended of any beast, but rather ungodly creations of the fallen. By suppressing their internal furnaces, bombs can allow their bodies to cool and harden until appearing not more than simple stones unworthy of remark. It is in this form that they hunt their prey, waiting until an unfortunate soul has stumbled upon their place of rest before rising from the ground to spew forth fiery gouts of death. Oddly, should the prey fight back, the bomb will not flee but rather combust spontaneously, sacrificing its own life to save the flock. Adamantoises. Enormous creatures with nigh impermeable and oddly fertile shells that play host to diverse flora that provide the painfully conspicuous reptiles with much needed camouflage in the bogs and fens they call their home. At a glance, these lumbering giants may not appear much of a threat, but at the first sign of danger, they will retract their heads and limbs and whip themselves into frenetic spins that have been known to flatten entire homes. Alrighty.
The door to the shelves shall ever be open.
So we have managed to clear that out. Let's do some side quests, shall we? I want to do the the Rosaria one first. Just to get it done, because there's only one here.
The tavern. I've seen your face before. You're a friend of Martha's. Help us, I beg you.
Help you with what?
Bandits in the Golden Stables. They're waving their swords around. I think they're gonna kill someone.
Okay.
When I saw what was happening, I slipped out the back. I should have stayed, but oh, please help them.
All right. I'll see to your problem.
Thank you.
How many were there?
I was out of the door too fast. They looked a nasty bunch,
oops.
though. Be careful in there, all right?
All right, we'll go do that. Is it just gonna be like a fight? Fun.
Ha! Golden Stables, my ass. All Martha's hiding back here is coppers. Huh? Oh, that's a fine sword, friend. Heavy, though, I expect. What say we relieve you of it?
Oh, you want to try?
Get him, lads. I want that blade.
Let's get this over with.
Don't let them explode. Stay down.
I keep accidentally using potions when I mean for it to be a Torgal fight.
Finished.
I don't know why. I don't know why it defaults to the potions. It's kind of irritating because you have to be pushing that button.
I'll be keeping my blade, thank you.
What a dingus.
There he is, the hero of the Golden Stables.
People will think twice about pushing us around again, thanks to you. We're lucky you were nearby. No good cowards wouldn't have dared set foot in the place if I'd been here, of course.
But you weren't. I thought you told me you had someone watching the place.
The Blood Axes keep an eye on the tavern, yeah. When they're not busy keeping the peace, that is. I've spread them as thin as they'll go. The Empire might be in charge, but that don't mean they care to keep us safe. If it weren't for the Blood Axes and me, merchants won't come near these lands for fear of what might happen to them.
I see. Then you do Rosaria a great service.
Just as you did today. You're a useful man to have around. Here.
And there'll be a mug of something tasty waiting for you whenever you next stop by.
Right, we've got work to do for to make this place presentable. You best be going, before I arm you with a mop.
Alrighty.
There he is, the man of the hour.
Alright, so now we want to go back to the world map and go back here. I guess we could teleport directly to the Lost Wing. Yeah, I probably should have done that. Oops. Okay.
Of
fancy giving us a hand?
Yeah.
Anything
I could have
catch
just
your eye?
teleported straight here, but this just, I guess, makes it easier.
Ah, you're Sid's man, if I'm not mistaken. Couldn't trouble you for some assistance, could I?
That depends. What do you need?
Some new bearers from Oriflamme just arrived, and it cost Master Quinton a pretty penny to convince their owner to part with them. Man must have been a bloody tyrant. I can't get a peep out of them, try as I might.
They're probably terrified of you.
You're probably right. Dare say it'd take a bearer like yourself to open them up. So, will you have a word with them? Help them settle in?
Yeah, we can do that. Why not?
That'll do me. Tell them they're safe, and that if they need anything, they just have to ask.
I'll let them know.
Appreciate it. They're sitting over there, taking a long overdue breather, looks like.
Alrighty, now I go over
How
here.
did the grocer know his daughter had been stealing?
Want to pick this one up too. Oh no, am I not gonna be able to? Oh no, this is a door that I can open. Okay, woo! I don't remember ever coming down here.
Master Quinton. I want no trouble. Wait, that's... Oh, glory to Griga. You were the hanged man. I took you for a rogue. If you're a friend of Master Quinton's, then perhaps you'll help me. His vineyard, Lostwing's pride and joy, has been beset by a plague of giant wasps.
And you need someone to solve your pest problem.
I do indeed. I've never seen them so far from the forest, nor so mean for that matter. I suppose the smell's got 'em worked up, and little wonder. This'll be the finest crop we've ever known if the fiends don't eat it first. I tried chasing them off myself, but they won't flee from the likes of me. And if I don't bring those grapes in for pressing soon, Master Quinton will have my guts for garters. You look like you can handle that blade of yours. Will you put it to use for a comrade in need? Please.
Sure.
Rid us of these wasps so I can be about my business.
I like the wasps because they're airborne enemies, so you can play around with them.
I'll see to it.
Oh, thank you. You'll find them over at Gotan's Bales on the edge of town. And hurry, Lostwing needs those grapes.
Alrighty, let's go do these now. So speak with the newly arrived bearers. That should be relatively simple. Just go over here and do this. It's interesting that they just like keep introducing systems into the game. Seems like it's still ramping up. Oh, wow.
You're safe here. They don't punish people like us for speaking our minds.
Truly. I'm hungry. My sister too, we're starving.
Wait here.
Thank you.
I won't be long. You stay here and rest.
That was a weird cutscene. I didn't mean to skip the first dialogue. I just thought it was like waiting for the character to go through his like panting, and then I ended up like missing a little bit too much, so whatever, it's fine. He needs food. Simple quest.
Can I have another cup?
I'll have 2 plates of whatever you're serving.
Sorry. We've enough mouths of our own to feed without tending to the wants of outsiders.
It's not for me. It's for some new arrivals.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't see the mark. So you're a comrade. Well, in that case, you may have whatever you require. Take all the bread and wine you want.
That's really all it takes. One look at the innkeeper's mark.
Of course it is. I do as Master Quinton commands, as do we all. And Master Quinton commands that none of his favoured guests be left wanting. Well, don't keep our new comrades waiting. Take what you need and see that they eat their fill.
Yay. Wine and bread sounds great right now.
Bread and wine. Hopefully
I might
this will be enough.
have some wine tonight. It's the night of our first tabletop RPG session with Kaw, Keith, Illusory, McSkinny, and Marty, and I'm looking forward to it. So it might be a night to crack open some wine and eat some charcuterie and have a good time.
Yeah. Bread and wine from the tavern.
May we? Truly? Such plenty. Never in all my days.
Brother, this place is like a dream. We sat and no one shouted. We ate and more was offered.
I know. I can't believe it.
You're free now. And the next time you're hungry, you need only ask to be fed.
Thank you for everything. Thank you.
All right. Now we gotta do some hunting. Who's ready to blow up some hives? We just gotta get, what is it, gasoline in a cup? Isn't that the TikTok meme going on right now? I'm hip with it. Let's go. I haven't used TikTok in years. I liked to watch it for ADHD memes and what felt like diatribes that would have otherwise existed on like 2013 era Tumblr.
A few wasps shouldn't give me too much trouble.
In terms of like 2013 era Tumblr replacements, co-host seems pretty good. I got a account on there recently and it's pretty nice. I haven't really used it much yet, but it seems kind of cool.
It's over.
Vincner Wasp.
That's enough.
All right, we gotta kill more of them. Fun. Don't worry, my fiery sword won't destroy all of the greenery and flora here. You don't need to worry about that. Worrying's for chumps.
Looks
All
like
right. Teleport back down there. Come on, with the power of an SSD, you can load faster than this. There we go. That's more like it. Why I oughta.
But how did the grocer know his daughter had been stealing up?
those wasps won't be interfering with your harvest anymore.
Oh, thank you. Master Quinton would have had my head if I'd lost the crop. I'd say you've earned a reward.
Great, I love
Argotan
rewards.
Rouge fetches a handsome price among the rich and powerful of the realm. We use that money to keep our comrades fed and Imperial wolves from our door. The vineyards were Master Quinton's idea. He wanted to give bearers a place to work, a place where they'd be safe.
Well, he certainly seems to have done that here. I'm glad I could help.
I'll see that he hears of your kindness. And once this vintage is ripe for drinking, there'll be a glass or two raised in your honor.
Alrighty, that's good. While some wine makers will remove the skins of the grape after pressing, leaving both skin and seeds in the juice to commingle creates a must that is better suited for extended aging, ultimately resulting in a more refined wine. Then, once the wine calms and settles sufficiently, the skins are removed, and the must is then transferred to wooden barrels of oak or chestnut, which, by allowing air to leach into the wine, imparted deepened levels of complexity, introducing rich aromas and improving texture, all while lessening bitterness. How delicious. I went to a winery with work recently.
You'd like to see what's behind that door, wouldn't you? Well, not on my watch.
Looks like the opening room in Vagrant Story. I got to see how wine was made, and it was really interesting. Actually, I had a really good time. All right, let's go back to the open world, and then we gotta speak with Gav.
Well, 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 someone's in a hurry.
Just following orders.
Funny, I never took you for the type.
Can't all be as obedient as you, Gav.
Eh?
Fine
Flirting.
day for a little mischief, wouldn't you say?
Is this all of us?
Actually, Gav won't be coming.
Just the three of us, then?
Drake's Head is the keystone of the Empire. Oriflamme's in chaos, yes, but that doesn't mean we can march an army through her gates. The fewer our numbers, the better our chances of going unnoticed.
God, I love Gav's armor.
And should that plan fail, well, we have our Eikons to fall back on.
He looks like Delita in Ramza's love child.
I don't know if I can. Ifrit still seems to come and go as he pleases.
Ordinarily, priming an Eikon comes naturally to a dominance. But then, you are no ordinary dominance.
Well, he's still got the blessing of the Phoenix, doesn't he?
Not to mention what he sucked out of Garuda. And did I ever tell you about how he was once the greatest shield in Rosaria? You know, I reckon he could probably cut us a path out of the capital on his own if need be.
Let's try not to find out.
We're less likely to be spotted if we travel separately. I'll meet you in Northreach in a few days. You two behave now.
Alrighty. So we now need to head up here to back to Lostwing. Come on, I was just there. Yeesh.
So, we're meeting in Northreach. And will I find Sid and Jill before this dame finds me?
But how did the grocer know his daughter had been stealing off to the vineyard to see the lad?
I don't remember which way to go to get out of here.
Sun's setting fast.
Is it just up here? Yeah. I think this is the way we ran to... when we ran into Garuda the first time.
Is it safe to ride to Northreach now?
I wouldn't say safe, but at least now it's possible. Oh dear. Clairview. Alright, we're in the open world now. Is that an enemy up there? Oh yeah, we got some Spideys. Some Spideys to fight.
There, boy!
All right.
Mistakes. Don't let them get away. That's enough. Give them all you've got, boy.
All right, that was neat. Okay, so we can cancel Devil Trigger as well, which is pretty cool.
Keep your distance, boy. Too slow. Sick of Toggle.
Look at that. There we go. Look at that. We did that without getting hit. That was pretty sick, huh? That was pretty cool of us. Don't worry, you don't need to tell me. I know. You don't need to say it. Pretty cool. Ooh, Griffin's Head Braid. Interesting. That gives us some kind of bonus to a wind ability, maybe? Let's check that out. Increases burning blade damage by 7%. All right, we'll take that. Seems pretty good. We like burning blade. That's a pretty neat ability. Are those, oh, wild chocobos, how fun. What is up here? What is this area? Oh, just a big open zone. Cool. Dragonette?
Kind of a fight. Keep your distance, boy. Over here.
It's always funny that Clive says keep your distance right before doing an attack that causes Torgal to jump in. This seems a little bit myopic, maybe?
North Reach.
Stand down.
Oh yeah,
You know what to do,
get him.
boy. Sick of Torgal. You know what to do, boy.
All right. All right. There we go. Now let's do this. Nice. Okay, that's an interesting ability. Curious. Or not an ability, a monster. I was just curious what those things are doing. The raptors were in Final Fantasy XI, I believe. Specifically that, like, coloration. So I wasn't really expecting to see them here, but this game has some deep cuts. I like it. Is that an Evis over there? Yeah, I think that is. Let's take it out. Oh, I got hit this time.
Give them all you've got, boy.
Look at that. Ooh, dragon talons. Those are pretty useful. We like that.